I'm watching FS1 right now, the post shot. I can't believe what I just saw. Now, before I get into what happened in the fight, Wilder literally just took a beating. Deontay took a beating. Tyson Fury beats him 7th round TKO. Now, before the fight, my original prediction was knockout for Fury. And then, about a couple hours before the fight, I changed it to Wilder by knockout. Because I think pre-fight, you just get hyped up and you're just gassed and you start changing your mind. And I changed it again. When I saw Wilder pacing back and forth, I saw the pre-fight stuff, I changed my prediction again. And I went for Wilder to win. Fury to win via decision, because I know Fury is the way superior boxer. And I was talking under one of another YouTuber's comment section. I was saying people don't understand. I'm not even a Fury fanboy. I'm more of a Joshua fan, but I'm not biased to anyone. I just love boxing. People need to understand that Fury is a special fighter. That is serious. Fury's a special kind of fighter. The first fight, if you look at Fury's whole career, Fury never performs well against lower opposition. When Fury faces higher opposition, that's when you see him perform out of his skin. He looked alright. Schwartz didn't really come to play. He looked like shit against. He looked like shit, but he didn't look bad against Wallen. But you know how the fight went. He obviously dominated it, but he got the car, and Fury was susceptible to a couple of punches. And I said, don't let these fights beforehand change your mind. People also talking about the cut. I'm not in my head. I was thinking, I don't think the cut will be a huge factor, because obviously everyone's skin is different, how surgery is different. But I'm more Free Stitch, man, I forgot his name. He works for Mayweather and Klitschko. Well, he did. He was saying how the surgery they done on Fury's eye cut was really good, and they also said, I'm watching Wilder right now. He's just sitting there. He looks like he's just defeated, man. Damn. I'm happy that everyone's safe and healthy. Anyway, he said that it looked fine. And if you watch the Badger Jack fight, Badger Jack had a fight with Marcus Brown. If you haven't seen it, you should go and watch it. Badger Jack had this huge gash on his forehead going downwards, like towards his nose. And he had a fight after with Juan Pascal, and that cut didn't open again. So some people just not supposed to being cut that much. Fury's not really doesn't really get cut in fights. If you watch UFC, someone like Nick Diaz gets cut all the time. Fury's never been a guy who gets cut a lot. Anyway, going to this fight, one thing I was thinking of was history always repeats itself, and that's how I feel like boxing is. And I was thinking, Ali beat Foreman. Hindsight is different from what happened at the time. At the time, Foreman was seen as this big destructive puncher, and Ali was seen as someone. He came back after his retirement stint, and a lot of people thought Foreman might run through him and knock him out. That didn't happen. Tactics were obviously different in this fight compared to that fight, but I thought history would repeat itself, and like Ali knocked out Foreman, which no one really expected, Fury would knock out Wilder. That was my kind of thinking going into the fight, because history always repeats itself. And indeed it happened in this fight here. First round was a pretty close round, but Fury landed like a really good jab and straight right. So I gave the round to him. Second round, I leaned towards Wilder, but it was like a really close round. It was in the third round where it just started coming down. Fury did what he said he was going to do. He came in, he said I was coming heavy, I was going to fan the front foot, I was going to put pressure on him. A lot of people saying don't do that, just box like he did before. He had this game plan, because again, Fury is special. He's not a regular type of fighter. And he came in and did what he was going to say he was going to do. That third round, he came in and he hit Wilder like a temple shot. Now, if you know, temple shots will do you, even though a box before, temple shots are the shots that will just ruin you. They ruin you. Now, Joshua got hit with a temple shot against Ruiz, and that's what made him hurt throughout the whole fight and ended up losing in the first fight. There was a fight I watched very recently. It was a temple shot. I forgot what fight it was, but it was a temple shot again. Temple shots do you in. When you get hit hard enough in the temple, it ruins you. So it looked like it was like a great part of his temple, and Wilder went down, but it looked like he kind of slipped down. It didn't look like he just got, like it was like for a punch. Then he dropped again, and then he got dropped again. And towards the end of the third round, he was walking towards his corner. I noticed he was walking, and he sort of caught himself in his right leg, and it looked like he buckled. So then I was thinking, this guy's footing is gone. He's not there anymore. So from that third round to the seventh round, Fury was just literally, essentially beating this man up. I've always said, even though this fight happened the way it happened, I'm still not convinced by Fury's front foot game being all that great, because even in this fight here, with Wilder hurt the way he was hurt, I still don't see Fury as a natural front foot kind of fighter or offensive fighter, but it worked in this fight here. Once Wilder was hurt, he didn't have that much. Fury also, if you watch Klitschko fights, Vladimir Klitschko's tactic was, because Klitschko during his reign was normally bigger. Klitschko was 6'6". During that dark ages of boxing, you would say, most of boxers around 6'1" to 6'4". Vladimir didn't really fight a lot of guys that were his height. So what he would do was, he will hold you, but he will get you in a front headlock. If you watch UFC, like a guillotine, or MMA, sorry, like a guillotine, he will hold you down and put his weight on you. This will tire you out. When you put, again, if no one's ever fought before, when you're fighting someone and you're a lot heavier than them, especially at heavyweight, or it's only for heavyweights, and you lean your weight on top of their back and they're holding your weight, it's gonna tire them out. On top of that, Fury was landing some really good body shots. I think it was like in the 4th or 5th round. Fury landed 2 body shots, like a left and a right, and one of them looked like on Wilder's, like, not squealed, but you can see it hurt him, like he felt the body shots. Wilder's face was a mess. His ear was bleeding, so Andre Ward said he might have popped the eardrum. His lip was bleeding. He was just bleeding all over his face. Oh, wow. Again, I hope Wilder's okay and everything, because at the end of the day, when you see a boxer fight, you want to make sure the boxer's okay. They came to 7th round, and he just took a beating in the corner. He was in the corner, Wilder's hands were up, and Fury just punched through his guard, and Wilder was just taking a beating. Kind of similar to when Joshua finished Klitschko, how Klitschko was just in the corner, and Joshua just pounding on him. It was kind of similar here, Fury. Now, the referee called it off because Wilder was taking a beating, but also his corner was about to literally throw in the towel as it happened. Shout out to his corner for that, because again, I tweeted out about, I think a couple minutes before, like a minute or two before, they're looking to throw a towel in because Wilder was literally taking a beating. Now, another interesting thing about Wilder, before this fight, he was in the change room, he kept pacing up and down. But Andre Ward said something very interesting. I feel bad for Wilder. I'm looking at Wilder right now on the TV. I feel kind of bad for him. He looks like he's just completely distraught. He's with his wife and his kids. Again, I hope he's okay. He got Tommy Hans there on TV. That's beside the point. He kept pacing, and I got the feeling that Wilder was extremely nervous. He was extremely... Wilder probably won't admit that how nervous he gets, maybe until he's retired. Similar to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson always talks about how he was always nervous before a fight. Wilder looked nervous to me. He looked like he was pacing, he was nervous. He looked like he was so much nervous in the first fight. I think in the first fight he didn't feel pressure, because this fight, the magnitude of this fight was so big. I think he just felt the pressure, and he felt like that he didn't make no mistakes. And again, so as a thought, when you're not even just fighting, when you do anything under pressure, you don't perform as well, because you're not as quick, or you might be too quick, or you're burning a lot of energy up doing the small things when you shouldn't be. So when you feel a lot of pressure and your heart starts racing a bit, you need to just calm your heartbeat down. That's what you're meant to do, but it's easier said than done, obviously. But yeah, and one thing that's interesting as well, Wilder landed about 3 right hands in the first 2 rounds. Fury rolled it a bit, but one of them hit him clean. Fury just ate it. Fury just ate it. Again, he rolled it a little bit, but he still ate it. I can't believe what I just saw. UK time is 5 in the morning. I say that was worth it. Again, Wilder's first loss. Again, one thing I must stress in this before I leave this video, I'll make another one tomorrow after I watch that back, because I watched an ESPN, I'm gonna watch the BT version, I'm gonna watch the Fox version, because I like different commentaries, and I watch without commentary. One thing that's very, very interesting is Wilder's tough. Now, again, I did say earlier in the video, I don't rate Fury's offense that much. If Joshua had Wilder that hurt, I reckon Joshua would have took him. If he was able to get Wilder that hurt and beat up and stuff, Joshua would have took him out a lot quicker, because Joshua was just better at being offensive. Fury, like, when he gets close, he kind of smothers you a little bit. I think that's part of his plan. He smothers you a lot, and because he's got very long arms, he's not really great at getting short hooks and uppercuts off. But yeah, Wilder was extremely tough. He took a lot of shots. And he went out on his feet. He didn't get dropped on the floor. Similar to kind of like Joshua, he went out on his feet, except for Joshua fight. The towel didn't get thrown in. The referee just stopped it, because again, they're taking a beating, and it's better. Wilder might be angry at he getting stopped now, but 10 years from now, when he could be 45, 10 years from now, he'll be happier that hopefully he's got his mental health and he's still able to function and live off the riches, rather than be in bad health, because this was a really, really brutal fight for him. Yeah, Wilder was tough. I take my hat off to him. And again, I'm more Joshua fan, but I don't. But he's my favorite boxer, but I'm not biased. You know, I call anyone out, and I give everyone credit where it's due. Hopefully, we can get a unification bout. I have no idea if Wilder's going to take this rematch with him, because he took a really bad beating in this fight. So what Fury does next? It is no rematch. What Fury does, I don't know. Because Joshua's fighting in June. I don't know if the timing lines up for a Fury fight, unless Fury wants to stay out the ring for long. Or maybe Dillian White gets a shot if Wilder says no. But maybe Wilder will say yes. I don't know, it depends. I guess Wilder's team would know on him. I think Wilder as a man would want to take the fight again. But after you being beat up like that, it's kind of hard to come back from a beat and fight the same guy. Like, not all fighters can, some fighters can do it, but not all fighters can do it, you know. But we've had some fighters do it recently. Like, we had Joshua do it against Ruiz. We had Kovalev do it against Elida Alvarez. So rematch wins happens, but normally it ends in the same way that the first fight went. But there's obviously some special fights like that happen, and Fury is a good special fighter. The one thing before I go, I want to say as well is Fury was so smart in this fight. He never went away from his tactics. Even when Wilder was completely spent, because believe me, by the fight ended around 7. In round 5, Wilder was completely gassed because of all effort Fury was doing. Fury kept holding Wilder, holding his head down, constantly holding him. When they were in clinches, Fury was pounding at his body hard. He kept just going in. He wasn't stopping. Wilder was doing some body shots, but he wasn't going as relentlessly. Fury was relentless with the body punches to tire this man out. Congrats Tyson Fury for the victory. Special fighter. Yeah, Wilder will come back again. I wonder what he does next. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you're new. I'll make another video in the next couple of days when I watch the fight back a couple more times. Wow. Congrats, Fury. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you're new. See you guys later. Follow up my Twitter. It's Kings_A1 as well. I tweet all the time about boxing. That's all I tweet about. Anyway, peace.